I'm very excited to be talking to you guys today about price positioning. I first want to acknowledge and commend everyone who made the decision to be here. Whether this is your first NET or you've attended all 9 or 10, I'm not sure if this is 9 or 10. My goal is that this talk helps springboard your success and your income to places you felt previously unreachable. During this talk, my goal is to challenge your belief system around pricing and price positioning, and hopefully help you evolve and grow your business. There's only so much time in the day and only so many days in the year. So how can you leverage the same events you've always been working, the same amount of time you've always had, to create even bigger results? Halfway through 2018, our team switched to selling at full price from the booth, which naturally left many reps, especially me, wondering, how am I going to create urgency? What is going to be the incentive for customers to buy now? How can I be in full transparency and full integrity with my customers, saying this is the time to buy, this is a great deal? Price positioning is the answer. Positioning and pre-framing. Positioning with my customers using comparison, illustration, and fact-based evidence to put my customers in the correct emotional and mental state to properly receive what I'm about to tell them. Positioning is putting my customer in the proper mental state to receive what I'm about to tell them. I could offer you guys the deal of the century. And if you are not emotionally ready to receive that information, it's going to fall on deaf ears. So spend the time on the front end to make the back end smooth and easy. Price positioning and pre-framing throughout my demo has been one of the single greatest needle movers in my business. In the past, I've been working with reps who've asked me, like, oh, how do I handle this objection? How do I handle this objection? And the answer is in the demo. Like, you shouldn't be handling the objection at the end. That should be woven throughout your demo. So when it comes to the end, I'm not getting I need to do research. That seems like a lot of money. I'm like, that means you need to blow up your demo and reevaluate. You're arranging your pitch and planting seeds to help your customers think and feel a certain way. This is going to be a theme throughout my message, but it does not matter what deal your customer gets. It matters how they feel about the deal. Let me repeat that. It does not matter what deal your customer gets. It matters how they feel about the deal. You heard Brandon Brown yesterday mention, like, what's the turbo incentive deal that he gives his customers when they buy an Ultimate? 3 free cutting boards and a sharpener and 3 gadgets. Right? And that's a turbo incentive. Why? Because of how he makes them feel about the deal. Our customers are not entitled to our commissions. Do you believe that Cutco is a phenomenal deal even at full price? I truly believe that. When I talk about positioning today, I'm going to be talking through some different scenarios and opportunities for you to strengthen your demo and better price position and price condition your customers. I'm going to be talking in terms of full price because it's worked out phenomenally well for me and for our team. And it's what all the top people are doing. So if you are not currently doing that, I would love to challenge your belief system, and I would encourage you to consider trying a new way. Positioning is not a new thing to selling Cutco. You're already doing it in a lot of areas. You might not even realize it. Something Brandon Brown preaches. Do you know what you're saying and why you're saying it? Do you know the purpose behind it? Do you understand what it's meant to convey? The reaction you want, the emotion you're trying to create with your customer. Understanding it is the first step to leveraging it and improving it. In your original demo, we price position, showing the features, benefits, and prices of Wusthof and Shun. Considering the free lifetime warranty, Mrs. Jones, considering that Cutco is American-made instead of being made overseas, most people would agree that Cutco is actually worth 2 to 3 times what Wusthof and Shun is. What are you mentally preparing them for? The fact that Cutco should be 2 to 3 times the price of Shun. That it's way more expensive than it actually is. You know you've done a great demo when you show them the price of Cutco and they go, oh, that's actually a lot less than I was expecting. Positioning your environment. Key number 1. At the very beginning of the demo, it starts with creating urgency and positioning the environment as this is the time to be buying Cutco, Mrs. Jones. The best time to buy Cutco was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Because this is the largest 3-day event we do in Orlando. Because this is the first time we've ever been here. Because we are official sponsors of the State Fair of Texas. It does not matter what the reason is, it's creating credibility and urgency in the event that you are currently at. I was cross-training with Brandon Brown, and he's like, yeah, this is the largest 3-day lemon festival we do in this area. I was like, there are like 8 qualifiers on that. And the customer's like, oh, so that's why you have these amazing specials. Because this is our first time ever doing this event, we're trying to show the nation what's possible. Because we've always been the underdogs, we're trying to take down blank. You're at a service event. Mrs. Jones, it's actually really cool that you're here. This is actually a private shopping event. Do you make it feel exclusive? Do you position and leverage whatever situation you're currently in? Mrs. Jones, this is actually a private sales and service event that only a select few customers are invited to each time we do it. So Cutco is allowing us to do some extra special deals and packages you won't find anywhere else. One thing I think we often forget to lean into as reps is the exclusivity that we have to offer to customers. Things they can't get anywhere else. A 5-pay option. We do not lean into that enough because like, yeah, I mean, you could call me and I'll do a 5-pay for you over the phone. Do they know that? Maybe this is something that's only available because of the large volume that we are selling at this event. That Cutco is making a special exception that you don't have to pay for your bill all at once. Are you leaning into and promoting things that create exclusivity? The feeling of being special. The feeling of, man, I should take advantage of this now. Because you're my past customer. I'm going to do this extra special thing for you. Because you referred blank to me, I'm going to give you this extra gadget, this extra cutting board. Because you responded to my sales email. Because you were the 3rd person to respond. Because you were the blah. It doesn't matter. It's how can you frame it in a way that makes them feel special and positions them to go, now is the time. Number 2. Positioning sets. Set pricing. We start out positioning that most of our knives are $100 to $200 on average. Now this is a 33-piece knife set. So you can do the math, Mrs. Jones. Now, without saying that this set is $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, the customer goes, oh man, that must be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. I'm like, the cool thing is, because we're not sold in stores, because we don't have 8 different markups, because I'm literally the only person between the factory and you getting this set, it's not actually $8,000 like it should be. In fact, even if you paid full retail for it, it's only $4,300. We should have it on sale here for, I think it's 36 something now. So the pieces in your set retail for $18.65, right? That's the value of the homemaker set. Cutco sells it as a discounted bundle package for just $16.13. You have now just accurately conveyed the special that we're doing here at the booth. Who here sets the prices of Cutco? Anybody? Maybe Steve Porzik, but besides that, none of you. All right, so if you go $1 below $16.13 on a homemaker set, who pays for that? You do. So are you being in integrity when you tell a customer, hey, by the way, like, I don't set the prices of Cutco. That's way above my pay grade. I just sell the product. But we do have some exclusive things that we do for our customers here to make it a win-win. Something I learned from Matt Graves actually on a Safe Fair prep call last year was just the, hey, full transparency, Mrs. Jones. Like, sometimes Cutco does online promos. This is like popping a fear bubble of many of you like selling at full price. Like, hey, sometimes Cutco does online promos where you might see like similar pricing on the set. You'll just never see it lower than it is here. The cool thing is we have a lot of extra exclusive things that you wouldn't ever find online, like the ability to break up your bill, the fact you have a full-time local service and sales rep, as well as extra bells and whistles that we do for you here. When you're selling at full price, this is like a fear bubble that was popped for me by a CSP when I was like, what if they walk away and then they go do some research online? I'm like, he's like, dude, are you going to let them walk away before you offer them an extra special deal? I'm like, no. He's like, great, then you're covered. They could literally go online, $16.13, come back. Seth, well, like I see it's the same price online. I'm like, yeah, remember I told you, like, Cutco sometimes does online specials. Remember all the extra incentives I was doing for you here? And they go, oh yeah, you did mention that. Guess how many times that happens, by the way? Almost zero. A negligible amount. Out of my 1,250 orders I had last year, that happened maybe twice. And I was covered because of proper positioning. You focus your customer on what they should be focused on. Where focus goes, energy flows. I don't promote that this is the end-all, be-all, cheapest, lowest price, best place you can ever buy Cutco. You'll never find it cheaper. You'll never find it. Because if you're promoting that, what does a customer do anytime they see a Cutco booth? They go and see if it's cheaper there. I want to condition my customers to be value shoppers, not price shoppers. Price shoppers still exist, of course. But I focus the conversation. Huge key when positioning the sets too is not mentioning free stuff and discounts, the kitchen sink right away. Especially when someone needs to think about it. That's the last thing I'm gonna do is go like, well, what if I gave you the scissors for free? Then would you do it? The second someone has an objection, that's an indication that it's time to dig in, ask some good quality questions. Half the time, what you think is the objection isn't even the objection. It could be, oh, like, she's got to go to the bathroom, like, we'll be right back. Oh, hey, no worries. Hey, why don't we do this? Like, let's continue the conversation while she runs to the bathroom. It's actually right over there. You've got to hold on to your ace in the hole until you can properly frame in, leverage, and position the free stuff or the discount that you're going to offer them. Which leads me to step 3, positioning, dropping down. We're going to use the homemaker as an example. Let's say you did a great demo. You pitched the homemaker for $16.13. You asked for the order. They want to think about it, which happens at the end of 90% of our demos, right? It's like 10% of customers are going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. You did a great demo. They buy it. 90% of them are going to have some objections or some questions or going to try to be-back you. And that's our job is to, hey, no problem. What's your knee-jerk reaction? Hey, great, no problem. Let me write that down for you so you can think about it while you walk around. That is your knee-jerk reaction. In the Hall of Fame breakout, Brandon Brown had us walk through an exercise, and the synopsis of it was very painful to think about the tens of thousands and over the course of my career, millions of dollars in sales that have walked away from me because I didn't do this properly. Knee-jerk reaction, no problem. Let me write that down for you so you can think about it while you walk around. Smile, ask a rapport building question, break their pattern. They are used to giving an objection and a salesperson, okay, well, what if I do this? Getting high pressure, panicking. It's a planned experience. We know this is going to happen at the end of most interactions. So just plan on it and be prepared for it. As you're writing, we start asking questions. This is when it feels low key. If you give them a card and then you're like trying to ask them these questions when they're trying to leave, and then it feels high pressure. The second I'm writing it down, I'm like, yeah, no worries. I'm just like making small talk while I'm writing it down for them. Hey, by the way, just so we're on the same page, do you feel like you get some pretty practical use out of most of what you see, most of these pieces here right now? And then, just so I know, like, if you really wanted to, is this something like we could fit into the budget if you really wanted to? Or is it kind of like pushing the envelope a little bit? If their answer is either no or hesitancy, we are dropping down to a smaller option. I could offer you a $300,000 Lamborghini for $100,000, and if you can't afford it, the answer is still no, even though that's the deal of a lifetime on a Lamborghini. Because it doesn't matter what the deal is if it's outside of the budget or there's outside external factors that are preventing them from saying yes. So, now I'm dropping down to a smaller option. Position the 5-piece as the solution, especially when it's budget stuff. I will very quickly I'll yo-yo myself back up to a galley or a homemaker, but I'll like flip through options quickly down to a 5-piece, especially when I can tell, hey, I have very limited time with these people. Most chefs will tell you that all you really need are 5 knives to start. And these are going to cover most of the jobs in your kitchen. In fact, what's really cool is Cutco, because this is such a great event for them, or because it's the 3-day Lemon Festival special, because this is our #1 event, Cutco is actually allowing us to basically take our 5 most popular pieces from our $4,000 set, the best and most practical pieces, and they actually have them prepackaged in this little set with the tray. Extra pro tip. I utilize the free tray offer and I include a cutting board. So that way they're getting extra value. And I'll take that opportunity to build up the value of a cutting board. Why? Because now I'm positioning this deal as like an even more like, oh, like we're getting that, we're getting this. We're stacking the deals. And it's on sale for only $6.21. And even on this starter option, Mrs. Jones, because Cutco is really trying to promote getting new customers at this event and really trying to build the customer base here, they're actually still allowing us to split up even this over the 5 months, no interest. What's cool too is Cutco's not a bank. They don't actually do any financing. There's no interest. There's no layaway. There's no credit check. In fact, like it literally just shows up as a charge in your card for $124 plus tax today. Basically like a trip to the grocery store. Probably less now. Always there, using that to then plant the seeds on the upgrade. Mrs. Jones, by the way, the reason most people start here is because we kind of like nickname this like the someday set. You know, everyone says they're going to get Cutco someday, but like I don't know if you've seen the calendar, like it's never in there. So we actually designed this set with someday in mind. And then we actually designed this other program, and I'll grab out the upgrade program, with the someday set in mind. Because we know everyone's end goal is to have like the full complete collection. But we know like budget's always the #1 reason. Like if Cutco was free, falling from the skies, of course you take it all, right? So with someday in mind, we designed this set for you guys. And we can always upgrade you to the full set, to the set of your dreams eventually, when the timing's right. The goal is we're popping all the bubbles. They're not missing out on the set of their dreams. They can still get something today. It's better to start with something than nothing. After we get the credit card, then we can start working on the, hey, let me upsell you 6 table knives. After we get that, yes, then let me upsell you a block. After we get that, yes, let me upsell you shears and another knife. And now you're at a custom galley. Positioning, number 4, positioning the extra special deal. Customer says they're going to walk around and think about it. This is the, you're not at hesitancy or a no. They're like, what's your deal, right? So I ask them the same questions, right? No problem, let me write that down for you. Smile, ask a rapport building question. Break their pattern. By the way, just so we're on the same page, do you feel like you get some pretty practical use out of this stuff? If you really wanted to, is it something you could fit in the budget over the 5 months, interest-free, if you really wanted to? Or is it kind of pushing the envelope? Oh, no, like we could. Okay, awesome. Well, hey, this is a huge show. So this is where we're helping them realize, we're positioning them, we're helping them get out of their own way. It's like they believe they're going to come back in most cases. And I'm going to help paint the reality of the situation. This is a huge show. There are hundreds of other things to see and do here. When people tell me they're going to come back, what do you think usually happens? Life? Like, I don't know, like your kid starts freaking out, you get a random call from a family member. I had a lady who literally walked outside of the building to make a phone call to her husband. I saw her a year later at the same show. And she was like, oh my gosh, Seth, you'll never believe what happened. When I called my husband just to make sure this was cool with him, he told me our dog got hit by a car. And I had to leave immediately. I'm like, you just never know what's going to happen. So Mrs. Jones, like, this is just me hedging my bets. You're probably going to come back, but like life might happen. And right now, I'm in a huge contest. It could be a contest. It could be a rep trip. It could be a silver cup. It could be push period. It could be your best year ever. You're trying to break a record for the event. You have a competition with your booth mate. Whatever it is for you. By the way, I would encourage you, like, have a game plan for each show. Like, if you're not good at doing it at the show, do it now, like, for your whole year. Like, plan out your power intro for the event. Plan out your power phrase for what is the compelling reason you're working towards. I love what Bert Wicks was sharing with his customers all year last year is like, it's going to take a village for me to hit this goal. And every order counts. So since you're here now, and you have my undivided attention, and we just never know what's going to happen the second you leave my booth, would you be open to considering just knocking it out while you're here if I did something above and beyond to earn your business? Most of the time when positioned correctly and when said that way, you're going to get, what kind of deal are you talking about, Seth? The second they leave your booth, the momentum starts to die. So the sales momentum diminishes, the purchasing decision starts getting less and less exciting. So we want to strike while the iron's hot. Here's the deal. There's not much I can do on price. Like I mentioned, I don't set the price. Now, Cutco does give me a little bit of wiggle room, but where I can really maximize your guys' value is in bells and whistles. So there's not much I can do on price because like I mentioned, I don't set the price. Cutco does give me a little bit of wiggle room, but where I can really maximize your value with Cutco is some extra bells and whistles. And this is where we bring to their attention something they didn't even realize they were getting with their set. With an ultimate set and a signature set, I'm promoting the heck out of the cutting boards and the sharpener. Something that costs me $0 because Cutco includes those for free. But the customer doesn't even know about that. That's like extra value that they're getting with their set. By the way, if you're not an expert at like making those cutting boards sound like the greatest thing, go listen to Bert Wicks talk about that because it is amazing. It's like he and I will spend 30 to 45 seconds talking about how amazing these cutting boards and sharpener are that they're going to be getting with it. It's basically going to keep your guys' Cutco in tip-top shape, Mrs. Jones, for years to come. What's cool about these bonus items is that Cutco Corporate is actually including them for free with the set. It's basically going to make your investment last longer and stay in tip-top shape. I guess I can't stress this enough because I have it in here again. Always give free stuff if you can. Free stuff is way better than taking $75, $100, $200 off the price. Right? And don't be afraid, again, to be a closer. Sometimes I even get caught up in this trap of like, some of it's pride, some of it's like, well, I pride myself in being a value seller, so I don't want to like give the boat. There are times where I'll work with people and I'll be like, you did what? Deal? Like, that is absurd. And I'm like, well, you still made $500. And the reality is you already done 90% of the work. So why not get it the 10% across the finish line to get that $500? So be a closer. But again, I cannot stress enough, like, I've done the math 100 times. I've been doing this for 15 years. Free stuff is always the way. So again, be paying attention throughout the demo. What's something that would be compelling to them? It could be a turn and serve. By the way, that is what, like, Bert and I were in the top 5 of cookware last year, and what our go-to number one thing that we give for free with a legacy cookware set, or really any cookware set, is a turn and serve. And we build the value and the heck out of that, because, again, it doesn't matter what the deal is, it matters how they feel about the deal. So now you're looking at the basic set. So after you build up the cutting board and the sharpener, I know you're looking at the basic set. A lot of times, like, the number one thing my customers tell me they feel like the set is missing is the kitchen shears. Like I told you before, these are $141. So if you're open to it and you want to just go ahead and knock it out while you're here, check it off the list, I will personally buy you those $141 shears, and I'll even make sure we include a little attachment you can put on the side of your block. So just to review, what you'll be getting is the full basic set, all 8 of the steak knives, the nice wood block, the $35 cutting board, the $62 sharpener, and the $141 shears. And by the way, today, all you're going to pay is $322 plus tax. Now, we're going to ship you the whole thing. If for some crazy reason it's too much money, too many knives, or too good, like if it's cutting too well, like you just send it back, because you hate that. It's like not laying a pillow because it's too comfortable, Mrs. Jones. But when you love it and keep it, they'll just bill you for 4 more months interest-free. By the way, I found the best time to talk about it, Mrs. Jones, is in front of the knives, but not in front of me. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of space to talk about it. I'll be right back. And then I be back them. Right? Be the be back. Control the... But what did I do before I be back them? Because it doesn't work if you just go like, yeah, so like go ahead and talk about it right here. Like, I'll just be right back. Mrs. Jones, the best time to talk about it is in front of the knives, but not in front of me. So I'll go ahead and give you guys a little bit of space to talk about it while you're in front of the knives. And then if you guys have any questions before you go, just let me know. I'll be right over here. Just wave at me when you're ready. And then I be back them. If you do end up having to drop the price, this is the line. Now, Mrs. Jones, I can't just wave a wand and have the price be lower. Because Cutco sets the prices, not me. But what I can do is take a little cut off my commission. Would getting the lowest possible price be more incentive than getting the extra bells and whistles? 2 things this does. 1, it addresses the issue of why I didn't give that price to them in the first place, right? When not done properly, I'm sure you've had this reaction like, well, why don't you just offer me that deal right away? Like, hey, Mrs. Jones, like, I can't just magically do this. This is me thinking creatively, being a problem solver. I'm trying to help solve your problem. You want good knives, but you're not saying yes yet. So now I'm still problem solving until you say yes, because I'm trying to help you get what you really want, which is good knives. When done effectively, oftentimes it doesn't have to be a crazy, stupid deal. It doesn't have to be $200, $300, $400 off of a set. Oftentimes, it'd be $75 to $90 for me off of a homemaker set. Something I learned from the book Never Split the Difference is make it a specific number. try to stay away from like general numbers like, oh yeah, I'll take $100 off the price. It's like, hey, I can take $87 off the price. That seems very specific. There must be a reason Matt's only offering me $87 off. That must be what he can do. Sales is a song and dance. Be willing to do it for your customers. There needs to be some theatrics and some drama to it. Customer comes up and says, you know, the ultimate's $3,600 now, right? I'll give you $3,200 for it. It's a quick, easy interaction. You know you could do that. What do? You do not just go, yeah, sure, let's do it. You ask a question first. So, just so I'm clear, you're telling me that if I could get you this set for $3,200, you would just do it right now, like credit card in hand. Well, oh, so you're just pulling my leg? Are you serious about this or not? Right? Show me the credit card. So you're telling me if I could do this set for $3,200, you would do it right now. They pull it out. All right, let's do it. Right? Do the song and dance. Number 5, positioning upgrades. I'm going to fly through this. We position each component of the upgrade. The basic set is a set that it's a great set. Comes with a lot of great pieces. But a lot of our customers tell us, like, I mean, they're not butchering pigs and chickens every day. We're not carving turkeys and hams that often. Most bread comes pre-sliced. So a lot of these pieces, while great, are just not used that often. That's why we took the customer's #1 favorite knife from the basic set, the trimmer, and we designed most of our new customer recommended knives around this size. Has anyone ever thought about that? Like, hopefully that was just like a for some people. It's like, most of our new knives are designed around the size of the trimmer because that's everyone's favorite knife. And the customer's like, oh my gosh, that is my favorite knife. Like, yeah, so that's why you want the upgrade, because like most all these pieces are all that size because we know that's the size that people use the most. But it's different functionalities of that size knife. So most of these pieces end up quickly becoming their most practical pieces and their favorites that they use the most. My customers also tell me like they never have enough table knives or steak knives. So what's cool is when you get the upgrade, you get a few more of those, so there's always enough. Plus you get a fresh new block to store them in. I'm gonna have to send this out because I'm out of time. Write this down, SC Kinzer, Kinzer, @gmail.com. sckinzer@gmail.com. I'm going to send you my last power phrase, but I'll leave you with this. Positioning and framing is putting a little extra work on the front end to ensure your customer is in the correct emotional and mental state to properly receive the information you're about to give them on the back end, to help them make a purchasing decision today. You now have more tools in your arsenal to propel your sales and success. Those tools do nothing when not implemented. Take the 1 or 2 nuggets, implement them right away. Build off of that. Keep building on the foundation. Let's crush 2024.